I think it's really important for people to know because so many people don't know that Yellowstone National Park has a buffalo trap inside the park boundaries, which they operate. And they use it to capture buffalo to ship them to slaughter or to keep them for quarantine, which is a form of domestication. And, a lot of people just don't even know that that's happening. And the things that go on at this trap, it's industrial size, it's massive, and it's very strategically located so that if you're driving down Highway 89 in Gardner, it's in the Gardner Basin, you can't see it. You have to really be looking for it. And the public is not allowed to access the trap. Um, it's off limits. They used to hold media tours, which I got to attend a couple of those, and they were just the stuff of nightmares, seeing what those buffalo go through. They go through they get hazed into these outer pens, and then they get hazed into smaller and smaller pens, and then they get hazed into the actual body of the trap itself, where they are run around like crazy. They just run around, and then they're poked and prodded, and then they're run through squeeze chutes, and then the young ones are separated from the adults, and so families are parted. But while they're in the squeeze chute, a lot of times when they're closing the neck thing, their horns get broken off. They're bucking around, jumping around, trying their best to get out of there. And it's just the stuff of nightmares. And then when they're through the squeeze chute and get into the separation pens, they are so afraid. A lot of times they're goring each other, bumping into each other. The calves are calling out for their moms. It's just horrible. And then after that, it's the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes who have a slaughter agreement with Yellowstone, and they send in trucks back up to the squeeze chute and cram them onto steel livestock trailers and then drive them hundreds of miles to a slaughterhouse where they're brutally killed. And that trap is also used for quarantine, which, the purpose of quarantine is a good idea, getting more buffalo out on the landscape, but they should be allowed to do it themselves of their own accord, on their own 4 feet, not get rounded up like cattle and treated like cattle. They get put into different pens where they're repeatedly tested for brucellosis, and they're behind fences for years. And then they get transferred to the Fort Peck Reservation, where they're again put behind fences for years. And then, they're doled out to various tribes after they graduate. The brucellosis makes sure they're brucellosis free. But the thing is a lot of them that end up testing positive throughout the process get slaughtered. And it's not a small number. But then those who graduate, they get trucked to different reservations where they still live behind fences. And I mean, it's not even the greatest thing. Like, I know Fort Peck sold it was either 8 or 12 buffalo that they got from Yellowstone to the Bronx Zoo. I mean, that's not wildlife restoration. That's not in the best interest of the buffalo at all. And there's been buffalo who died because they were in captivity and a fire hit. There were buffalo who died because their water source was not being looked after. And it's just a brutal process, and it doesn't consider the buffalo's perspective in any way. And both of these programs now, the Park Service is really trying to greenwash this stuff. The slaughter program is now being called the Tribal Food Transfer Program. When it's slaughter, I mean, they're slaughtering these buffalo, stealing them from the wilds of Yellowstone. And then the quarantine program is now being called the Bison Conservation Transfer Program, just to make it sound really pretty. So nobody really knows that these kinds of things are going on or what they really look like. But if you were to ask the buffalo their perspective, which is what we always consider, they would tell you, please don't do this to us. There's a better way, and it's called migration. Well, because the event that we're having is about revealing more of the truth about what's really going on with these buffalo, the horrors of the so-called hunt, capture for slaughter that a lot of people just don't even know about, the greenwashing of the quarantine program. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to tell people the truth about what's going on. And you can also visit our website, roamfreenation.org, and you can see some of the photos there, and you can look through some of our reports to see more photos. And I mean, it's out there. The images are out there if you just look them up. But people need to know about this. It's not in the best interest of the buffalo.